Hey, second annual Derby Eve Faith Night is coming to Southern Indiana in May. We're going to give you all the details of that. But today we have a special guest that is going to be performing for the first time at Derby Eve Faith Night. We have Big Rev with us. Big Rev, how are you doing?
Oh, I'm blessed, brother. I'm honored to be here with you today, man.
Hey, it's good to have you. Before we get too far into this, Big Rev, who gave you the moniker, and why did they give you that moniker?
Well, growing up, I mean, I've been raised in church my entire life, and I was so infatuated with the Book of Revelation.
Mhm.
I know a lot of people like, man, like that's a deep book, you know. When I first started rapping back in like 1999, 2000, I was called I'm Revelation was what they called me.
Okay.
So as I got a little bit older, I shortened it to Big Rev because I'm a bigger dude and I'm thinking Big Rev, Big Rev. Okay, that works. So that's how Big Rev come about.
Yeah.
So
Well, you mentioned there that you are a rapper, and so to give us a timeline. What age did you start rapping? Who were your influences? You know, there's
oh,
not a ton of Christian rappers
th-
out there, but there are a few.
this is where it gets cool. Honestly, rap wasn't my first inspiration. My inspiration was classic rock and roll.
Okay.
Um, my dad was a country artist. He toured with John Anderson and Doug Stone back in the late 80s, early 90s. So I grew up loving that kind of style of music, not particularly country, but classic rock, like the Eagles, Prince. Um, I mean, the list can go on and on and on. Styx, Queen, all them guys.
Right.
Those that was really my first taste of music, other than my dad, and I got introduced to it. I just loved the showmanship of how they presented themselves on the stage. It was just so awesome. And it's crazy because some people's like, well, you're a rapper. But it wasn't till I was probably around 15 is when I started getting into the sounds of hip hop.
Hmm.
You know, I liked Run DMC, Public Enemy, back in the day. And then it kind of went into like the Tupac era. And I just sat down and God really spoke to me one day and he was telling me, he was just giving me these words to write down. And at the time, I was like, okay, God, I'll write them. So as I started writing them, I realized it was like I was kind of writing them like a rap. And I had a little karaoke machine with a cassette tape back then with a little microphone. So I recorded that, and I recorded it. I mean, yeah, it was back in the day, and I recorded on the karaoke machine. And I was like, I actually like that. That's pretty cool. I mean, I might start being able to do hip hop, rap. Well, then a buddy of mine come over and knocked on the door and said, hey, I'm starting a rap group. Would you want to join? And I was like, wow, okay. So that's how we started rapping, and we called ourselves the Spiritual Assassins. Uh, and then we moved on to NWC, New World Christians. And so, but yeah, that's pretty much the backstory of, yeah. So my love for music is every style, every
Yeah.
style.
Well, I was
So
talking to Travis from Chaotic Resemblance a couple of weeks ago, and just comparing notes and kind of that same vibe. You know, I
yeah.
was everything from light rock to rap to heavy
Mhm.
metal. Alternative rock was big when I
Yeah.
was in high school, so everything in between. It is amazing how, music is a bit of a universal language, and then we
Mhm.
classify it in different categories. What about the rap that just kind of drew you to it? Do you find challenges with being a Christian rapper? To talk a little bit about that.
Oh man, yes. There's been so many challenges. I want to say I thank God every single day for the church I'm a part of now, Joy Life Kingdom Center. They have opened their arms and they're allowing me to do my ministry in the church. Before, I had a lot of doors shut in my face, saying this is not the right music that you need to do. We don't like the backwards hats, or we don't like, I just it was some difficulties. It
Yeah.
really was. I had some doubt myself for a little while, thinking, maybe this isn't the right thing that I need to be doing. Maybe I need to follow the footsteps of my dad. But I did not like country music. So I was like, well, but I kept persevering and praying and keeping God first. And I said, God, I'm going to give you this. The battle's not ours, it's God's. So I gave it to him, and it really just took off, brother. I mean, just he's like, you know what? We're not going to give up.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I just kept going. But there has been a lot of difficulties, but I kept going. A lot of tears shed, a lot of sweat. But in the end, I'm glorifying God, and that's what it's about.
Yeah.
So
Well, in fact, your perseverance, you just signed a new record deal with
yes,
the Resurrection Records. So
yes, sir.
you got that first record deal. What does that mean to you?
It's amazing. And it comes with the rock community. Um, they have opened their arms and embraced me like Chaotic Resemblance. I'm really good friends with Travis. I love those guys. I'm excited about sharing the stage with them at Derby E Faith Night. They're really the first band that I really started performing with that really like, I mean, Travis was there for me, telling me that, hey, I like your style, this and that, and this and that. And then it led into becoming performing with the Protest, and then 13 minutes. I mean, the list can go on and on. It's so I don't really do a whole lot of concerts with rap artists. I do it with rock. So Aaron Michaels, of course, he was at a show. We performed together, and he was talking to me, and I opened up for him, and he reached out and was like, "We'd love to sign you." And I was like, "Whoa, okay, awesome." So yeah, I become a part of Resurrection Records. We have 3 Days Under. We have Tricord. Um, Man, there's a Crimson Overtone. B Wade, he's another Christian rapper. There's a list. There's so many other
Yeah.
guys, and I'm just happy and blessed to be a part of it.
Yeah. Well, congratulations on that. You mentioned Chaotic Resemblance. We've talked about them a couple times. They're heavy metal.
Oh yeah.
Your rap. It's not what most people would think of when they think of Christian music.
Oh, for sure.
And I reached out to you prior to this, and I said, hey, what's a song that you're going to be performing at Derby Eve Faith Night that's coming up in May? You sent that to me, Take a Stand, and it's rap, and there is a heavy metal component to it as well. Tell us about that song, why it's special to you.
Yeah, it's Make a Stand. It was something that, like I said at the beginning, it took me back to my roots of rock. Like, and this was before I even started performing with the rock groups and everything. This was something I just wanted to do. God placed on my heart. I was like, you know what? I want to be able to reach everybody. Am I going to go somewhere and reach someone with just rap? No. Am I going to go somewhere and reach somebody with just rock? No. So I was like, I want to put both worlds together and see how this thing plays out.
Mm-hmm.
And at the same time, I said, God, give me something to speak about, because I don't want it to be just a song. I want it to have a meaning behind it. And we were talking to, in the Bible where it says stand, we got to stand firm in God. And I was like, let's make a stand. As Christians, we need to make a stand and proclaim his gospel and proclaim his word, because this world's getting crazy. And part of the song, I say, Lord, we need your living water to quench our thirst, because the earthly water, it's water, of course, but I mean, we need his spiritual water, and we need to make a stand as Christians. And yeah, ever since I recorded that, I mean, that's one of my songs that everyone likes, says, "Oh man, Big Rev, this is awesome. This is awesome." So yeah, it's a really awesome song, and it's one of my favorites, honestly. Yeah. So yeah.
He's Big Rev. He will be performing at Derby Eve Faith Night coming up on May 3rd. Again, we'll get you all the details here at the end. You talked about reaching. You wanted to make sure you try to reach different audiences, right?
Yes, sir.
Tell me about what the fan reaction has been to you and your music, and do you think that you can reach people outside of what the common traditional Christian artists could reach?
Brother, I've been in a couple of situations where I performed in front of nothing but non-believers, and it was just, I was so nervous. It was a recovery rally thing, and I was so nervous because I was like, what if I get up there and I start ministering and doing my music for God, and they just start booing and walking out and throwing things and everything? But it was the total opposite, man. It was, they come to the front of the stage. I'm sorry, the stage, and they just dropped to their knees and was bawling their eyes out, and they embraced it. They were like, you know what? I didn't realize, and it's so crazy because this style of music's been around for so long, but there's so many people that go, I didn't realize that you could rap or rock out like that and speak about Jesus. I love that. I want to be a part of this. I want to start listening to this more often. Mm-hmm. So I say I can minister in a church all day long, and I love doing that. But when I go to places like that, that's where, like I said with the song, you got to make a stand, and we got to reach the lost and bring them in. So that was really cool to be in front of a crowd like that. But I tell you, man, at first I was nervous.
Oh, sure.
I didn't know what was going to happen. And I get a lot of respect and a lot of praise and love. And I don't say, oh, I want praise or anything like that. You know what I mean? A lot of people reach out to me about the music, and they're non-believers. And there's been a couple things that, I don't know how much time we got left, but there's been a couple things that's happened after concerts with people that are contemplating suicide or contemplating on ending their life or drugs or something like that. And they come up to us after the show and they tell us, your music saved my life. That was the only thing that got to me.
Oh, wow.
And ever since that happened, it's like, you know what, God, I know this is you, and I got to keep on going.
Yeah.
So but yeah, I know it might have sounded, I might started. My wife always says, you always take a question and you start from the beginning. And I said, well, every story has an origin story. So I got to go.
Yeah, no
So,
doubt.
yeah.
Oh, love hearing your story. You are going to be performing live. We've got 5 bands coming to Southern Indiana May 3rd for Derby Eve Faith Night. You talked about that interaction with your fans. Is that your favorite part of performing live, or what do you like about performing live versus recording in a studio?
The number one thing about performing live is that I get to minister to people face to face. My thing is that's what comes first is Christ. And I tell people when I perform live, I can say, this is not about me. This is about Jesus. I am just a vessel that he's using. And I love to have that interaction with them because, when they start singing along with the song and you're singing about Jesus and they start singing along with you about Jesus, and it's just really cool. It's really awesome. Um, I just love interacting with them, and I love recording in the studio also. But I love to perform and spread the word of Jesus and just have a good time because my performance is kind of family orientated because my son Kobe J, he performs with me on stage.
Oh wow.
He's going to be at Derby Faith Night with me, performing with me. He helps me out because the older I get, the tougher it gets on certain things. So he takes up a little bit and starts rapping for me. But no, it's awesome to have my son in part of my ministry. My wife, she usually speaks at like when I do Big Rev concerts. She speaks, and then I'm a real big supporter of the autism community because my son Tristan, he has autism. So we when we do shows, we're going to start promoting autism, about not promoting autism, but taking up like the sales for autism merchandise that we have are going to go toward the autism fund.
Yeah.
So we get to interact with the fans about that, about Jesus, about the autism fund, just connecting and making relationships. It's really awesome.
Yeah, that's great. Well, look, we got Derby Eve Faith Night. Let me give you the full rundown here. It's May 3rd, starting at 7 p.m. There are some VIP tickets left. So if you want to get that interaction, that backstage with some of these artists, talk to Big Rev.
Oh yeah, I'm
There's
open for it.
there's still some of those tickets left as of the time of this recording. $15, folks. That gets you in the door early, a little bit early. Again, you get that backstage access. And then general admission tickets are only $10. So this is a bargain of a deal. 5 bands from all over the country,
Yeah.
bands that have toured all over the country, all over the world. Chaotic Resemblance, The Revelators, Hush Harbor, Jonathan Jackson, and Big Rev will all be coming to Memphis, Indiana. Hey, talk to us about, you just signed the record deal. Where can people find you? What's your tour schedule look like?
Right now, my tour schedule's picking up after like next month. Me and my family, of course, we usually like to take vacation on March. So, and then I am traveling to Connecticut next month with my church to connect with a pastor up there to go back in September and do some ministry.
Okay.
So I'm traveling to Connecticut next month. It's kind of not like back to back shows. They're kind of spread out right now. But once I get into the fall, that's when they all start really kicking up. I do a lot of local stuff during the summertime. But with me, it's always been when they just call me. It's like, I try to set some up and then, it's not like chaotic, they're just, I just love those dudes. But I'm trying, man. And Resurrection Records, we're just now starting and getting our feet on the ground. And I believe that doors are fixing to swing wide open.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we'll be busy, but you can find me on Facebook, Big Rev on Facebook, on Instagram. I don't have the TikTok and the Snapchat and all that. I don't know. I just have never just been, I know a lot of artists use TikTok, but I don't. But you can message me. I always try to message everyone back that messages me. If you want to talk about Jesus, number one, if you want to talk about shows, anything, just reach out to me. But Big Rev on Facebook and Instagram. And yeah, that's how and then all my music is on Apple Music, Spotify, YouTube. You can go to all those digital platforms, downloadable platforms, and find my music. Big Rev, yeah, you'll find me there.
Yeah. I've got a chance to sample some of your music, and I know Resurrection Records is going to do some more about putting some more of your songs out and getting some momentum behind that.
Yes.
So we'd love that for you. Again, he's Big Rev, based out of Arkansas, right?
Yeah, Fort Smith, Arkansas. It's the second biggest city in Arkansas.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, you can see him as along with 4 other musical acts. Derby Eve Faith Night. That is March 3rd. We're going to put links to help you find Big Rev, links to help you get tickets to Derby Eve Faith Night. And look, I'm the MC. One of my favorite things
awesome.
is just going to be able to be backstage and pester you guys and pick your brains but we'll be there supporting you all. And And I know you're gonna be bringing some merch with you as well.
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. We got some brand new merch. And my brand new album is out right now. I don't have physical copies at the moment, but I do have the little QR codes that will be on the merch table. You just scan it, and it'll take you to my music. But it's called VIP Victory in Prayer, and it's available on all digital platforms. So
All right.
yeah, we got a new merch line coming, new shirts, new stickers, all that kind of stuff.
Good deal. Well, we look forward to seeing you again. Derby Faith Night, May 3rd, 7 p.m. Tickets are on sale now. Just a few of those VIP tickets left. Come see Big Rev perform
Yes,
live. Big Rev, thanks for joining us.
no problem, man. God bless you, and thank you so much.